Listen, bro, there's a place that exists where you don't got to keep your guard up anymore. You know what I'm saying? Like a mental place that you could stay in that's peaceful, and you don't got to keep your guard up against people and their intentions and what they're possibly gonna do. You see, like you see how our attention is on how negatively we could be impacted by other people, instead of it being on how powerful we're supposed to become as human beings, and how that's to be affecting others. We're always worried about what someone's gonna do to us, you know. But yo, when you get strong mentally, you don't worry about that. You know what I'm saying? You're not worrying about how what action someone's going to partake in, and how you're going to be affected, and what it's going to do to you psychologically, because you're no longer a victim to circumstance, and you're powerful now. You know what I mean? Now everywhere you go, you're having impact on things instead of things having impact on you. You know what I mean? And that happens when, like, you know, like sometimes like someone will get disrespected, and instinctively you don't think about what they're going through that's making them talk to you that way. Your first instinct is to say, yo, the hell with what you're going through. You better never talk to me like that again. You know what I mean? Focus is always on you and how you're being imposed on, and how you don't like their tonality, and how you don't whatever. You know what I'm saying? But yo, when you shift that and you start thinking, man, I wonder what's making them act like that. I wonder, maybe they're going through something at work, or their kids, or their wife, or whatever, man. Like, but people hear that, and then they be like, yo, it sounds like you're justifying people being messed up. It's like, nah, it's not a justification. It's just understanding. Like, when God loves messed up people, his love for them doesn't justify them being that way. And he doesn't love people because they're messed up. It's because there's underneath all of them, like how much they're messing up, there's incredible potential. You know what I mean? They have a lot of potential to be so much more than what they are. So God's love for people, it's not to empower, weakness. It's not to empower mediocrity. It's for them to over time become who he created them to be, which that's what he loves. You know what I mean? So 'cause people be like, yo, how can God love a monster like that? Or how can God love this person? It's because he doesn't see them as that. Like, the only way for you to ever love your enemy is not to see them as your enemy, to just realize that it's just their mindset against yours. Like, like they hate your mentality. They hate your ways. They hate, and hatred, hate, what's crazy about hate and love is it's a copy and paste formula. You know what I'm saying? Like, when you love everybody, you just, that whole mindset of this loving people, like, gets copied and pasted to everybody you look at. And a hatred for a certain group of people, like, yo, I was talking about racism yesterday. I don't think anybody's really racist. You know what people hate when they're being racist? They hate whatever stereotype they're projecting onto a set of people, right? That's what they hate. They hate their assumptions of what they think a whole class of people are. It's not even all the people that they hate. You know what I'm saying? Like, might be like, yo, but not all black people are like that. Not all white people are like that. And, I'm sure the person who's being racist knows that, but in their mind, they can't get over their own projections, that they hate, that they project onto others. And it's so, I say it all the time, like, yo, if you ever met any one person you ever hated, there's millions of people in the world that act, think, and talk exactly that way. You know what I mean? And if you met all those other millions of people, you'd probably hate them too. You know what I mean? So it's not even the one individual that you hate. It's the mindset that they have that, that makes their actions permissible, that makes them act the way that they do. And, yo, it's when you have understanding, man, because, the Bible says my people perish for a lack of understanding, and all you're getting, get more understanding. And all the areas that we suffer, it's a lack of understanding, whether it be financial, emotional, spiritual, just, whatever. And, the whole thing about the people that are the closest to you can hurt you the most, that's a lie. That's because you expect the most from them. The only reason you're hurt because you expect things from people, and then they don't deliver, and now you have issues. And now your issue is their fault. You know what I'm saying? And it's like, yo, don't expect nothing, man. Like, wake up in the morning and be like, just start saying, yo, no man owes me anything. No one owes me a response. You don't have to return my texts. You don't have to return I talk about text messages and calls a lot, because people, that right there is such a stumbling block for people. You get so offended that people don't return your texts, as if that's the reason you exist, for people to be considerate towards you. Like, nah, you're here to fulfill a mission, a purpose before you die. You know what I'm saying? And, there's a scripture that says, if your eye is single, your whole body is full of light. And it means if your focus is single, man, we be walking around thinking that 4,000 things matter. But you know what I'm saying? If we had 30 minutes to live, you'd realize there's probably less than 10 things, definitely less than 20 things that actually matter in the scheme of things. But meanwhile, we be thinking that what people say about our marriage matters, behind our back, or behind, you know what I'm saying? And yo, like, the part of the scripture that says love takes no account of a suffered wrong, that's the way to live free, man. You know, because like when I lived with my roommate, who I hated at the time, all I did was take an account of a suffered wrong. You know what I'm saying? All I did was get offended. All I did was, I had 1,000 journal entries as to why I was so displeased with his actions, because I didn't give a fuck about what he was going through or what made him that way. I just felt like he needed to change instantly, like he needed to change right away, because he was being a fucking inconvenience towards me. And I wasn't thinking about him. I was thinking about me. And in that place, life is miserable. But if I could take my mentality now and go back in time, you know what I'm saying? Like, I'd be a solution to that problem instead of being a bigger problem to his problem. Having a problem with him because he has a problem with me. You know what I'm saying? I got a good friend that was like, yo, if someone has a problem with you, that's not your problem, that's their problem. You got a problem with them, that's your problem. You know what I'm saying? And then if you, he made it so complicated. He was like, if you have a problem with somebody having a problem with you, that's your problem. And if they have a problem with you having a problem with them, that's their problem. I'm like, bro, what the hell did you just say to me? But yeah, man, good dude. He's wise, you know. Man, my phone's dying. 1 second. Phone about to be dead in the middle of this live. Hold on. Yeah, so anyways, I don't know if my phone's gonna die in the middle of this live, but if it does, I'll be back later, probably, maybe tomorrow. So yeah, man, you don't take an account of a suffered wrong. You stop having 1,000 journal entries as to what people did wrong, and obsessing over how it shouldn't have happened. Yo, like I always say, man, the most miserable people in this world, they're obsessed with what should be and what shouldn't be. They fix on something that shouldn't have happened and repeat it over, and like they should have known better. Well, they shouldn't have done this, and when they shouldn't have. That's it, man. And they're not very adaptable, and that's why they complain. Because every time that I complained, when I was complaining, I wasn't very adaptable. Now that I'm fucking adaptable, I don't complain. You know what I'm saying? It's just, when you become adaptable, when you become content in all circumstances, and you say, man, this is not the best circumstances. Maybe not something that I would necessarily wish for. But I'm not about to sit here and fucking complain all day about it. You know what I'm saying? Like, yo, if there's a wall in front of you, what do you get mad at the wall? Do you walk around it, go under it, or go over it? You know what I'm saying? Like, or you could just stuck there and just fixate on how the wall shouldn't be there. You know what I'm saying? The obstacle shouldn't be there. The storm shouldn't come. You know what I'm saying? Like, we fixate on stuff we have no control over. Somebody else's attitude towards you, that's not your problem. That's their problem. They're going through something. That's why they acting like that, Um, like Tony Robbins once said, he said, there's only two ways a human could respond to you. It's either a loving response or a desperate cry for help. You know what I'm saying? So when people are disrespecting you, when people are coming at you, it's a desperate cry for help. You know what I'm saying? Like, Jordan Peterson once said, he said music is the best display of how life should be. Everything in synchronization, everything in harmony with each other. When it comes to music, if there was a tune that was off beat, you would notice it right away. It's like music is like multiple layers on top of layers, synchronized together. You know, like, just different moving parts and components moving at once, right? But, it's synchronized and it's in harmony together. And he was like, that's how life should be, our emotions, our finances, our, everything. Like, but when one thing is off, it throws everything off. And I forgot how he worded it something like that. It was such a beautiful, like, example of just being in harmony with everything, But yeah, man, when you don't expect things from people, right? See, look, this is why nobody wants to love. You don't want to love people, and you got your guard up, guarding your heart because you've been hurt in the past, and you think it's gonna repeat itself, and you're scared of getting hurt again, right? But and you're wishing that maybe people wasn't such assholes or more considerate or whatever. But yo, like, and maybe you're wishing life got easier. Life gets easier when you get stronger. When you get stronger, life does get easier. Don't wish for an easy life. Wish for the endurance to go through a hard one, you know what I'm saying? And not fall apart in the middle of life being hard. Wish for that. Wish for strength. You know, wish for knowledge. Wish for wisdom. Don't wish that people would be more reasonable. Don't wish that people would be more kind. Wish that you wasn't so sensitive that their lack of kindness was so disruptive for you, that you wish for that to happen, that you're just so damn calm that nothing could get in the way of you having a good day. You know what I mean? No matter what, no matter how other people are acting, you don't even know how to be negatively impacted by it because you're just so full of understanding that if they wasn't so, you know what I'm saying? If they wasn't dysfunctional, they would act differently. If they wasn't going through whatever, if they were maybe taught better or trained better, like other people are a product of their environment and they didn't grow up in good environments. So they're only projecting what's around them to the world, and what they project might not be good. You know what I'm saying? And you know, Jordan Peterson, he also said he was like, you know, this world is either going to be better because you were born into it or worse because you were born into it. And there's people that are unconsciously making the world either better or worse. You know, first of all, it's better to be conscious than unconscious. And then second, it's better to try to make the world a better place because you entered it instead of much worse because you're here. You know what I'm saying? And but yo, look, when you don't take an account of a suffered wrong, when you don't have everything tallied up, how many times somebody offended you, how many times somebody let you down. Like I said, the only reason people let you down is because you expect from them. You know what I'm saying? Like, people apologize to me all the time. Yo, sorry I didn't get back to you. Sorry I don't respond to your texts. Sorry I didn't call you. I'm like, bro, if 10 years fucking pass and you never get back to me, I don't care. You know what I'm saying? I'm not alive for you to get back to me. I'm not alive for us to even be friends. Like, yeah, cool. I appreciate your friendship. I appreciate your company. But if one day you decide to cut ties with me, and that's another thing, yo, sometimes people are cool with you and then they leave for no reason. You know what I'm saying? And then if you dwell on how it shouldn't have happened, or I thought we was tight, I knew this person for 10 years, or, you know what I'm saying? Then you're going to let that take away the rest of, you know what I'm saying? You're going to let that negatively impact you and just sit there and wonder what the hell, why did they leave? Why this? Yo, that has nothing to do with your purpose. That has nothing to do with why you was created. That has nothing to do, you know what I'm saying? And then we justify, yo, there's things that we justify that no wonder why we're in pain. We're all justifying it. Like, we justify having bad days. We justify being sad, being depressed. Oh, everybody has their ups and downs. Everybody, you know, and it's like, no, how do you know everybody has that? You know, how do you know there's not people in this world that's so fucking emotionally stable that they don't ever fucking have a bad day? It sounds impossible because we don't meet people like that. You know what I mean? But, you know, like in 2014, when network marketing became interesting to me, I saw this guy. He was 22 years old, and he said that he made $20,000 a month. He said, no, the first thing he said that I remember him saying, he said a lot, but he was like, I'm 22 and I'm retired. My first instinct wasn't, get the fuck out of here, you're lying. My first instinct was, how can I learn what you know so that I can have what you have? You know, I was sitting by the campfire yesterday with my friend, and I was like, yo, so many people, we hate on people doing better than us. Like, if you have a dysfunctional fucking failing marriage and your friend is doing good in his marriage, like, why wouldn't you have the humility to ask, bro, you killing it in your marriage, man? Like, your wife loves you, you love her, you're peaceful. I don't see you guys argue. You know what I'm saying? I don't know what goes on behind the scenes, but you know, you don't ever get an attitude with each other. You don't, you know, when it comes to me and my wife, all we do is get a fucking attitude with each other all the time. Why is, you know what I mean? Ask questions, yo. You know, I had a friend, right? And I really believe that, I think he was jealous that his father liked me more than him. He was like, yo, you know, and he probably felt like, yo, that's my dad. Like, how come my dad doesn't like me? You know, and it's like, well, dude, are you a likable person? You know, do you have likable qualities? You know, or do you impose your fucking religious views onto, because you got to understand, like, if you're super religious, if you're super, life has to be this way and you need to convert to my point of view, you know what I'm saying? And if you're a communist about everything, what's likable about that? What's likable about you infringing upon somebody's free will? Do you expect people to like you while you're doing that? You know what I'm saying? Like, there's nothing wrong with sharing your views. There's nothing wrong with telling people how you feel. But when you impose and when you tell them that they have to fucking be obedient, or they have to follow your rule book, or they have to convert to your religion, or they have to be vegan. No, like, bro, there's not one thing that humans have to do besides die one day and be judged by God. That's it. I struggle to think of things that any of you have to do. You know what I'm saying? Like, if men had to be good fathers, don't you think there wouldn't be single moms if that was something that was under obligation that they absolutely had to do? You know what I'm saying? Like, yeah, it'd be nice if men raised their fucking kids, you know? But it's obviously not an obligation, since there's so many men that don't do that. You know what I'm saying? Being a good parent is obviously not an obligation, since there's so many people that, there's a lot of things that if it did happen a certain way, life would be better, But everything is about choice, you know what I mean? And I know a lot of people blame God for the world being the way that it is, but it's like, like God didn't want the people that are like that have evil intent to do the things that they do, but they have free will, you know what I'm saying? So, and then like I'm bouncing around through a lot of different things right now, but I'm gonna speak on a lot of topics. There's a lot of parents that, you raise your kid to be good, right? And he turns out to be a gangster, toting guns and selling coke and doing whatever. And you think that that's your fault. You think you failed as a parent. How did you feel as a parent when your kid has free will? Like, I understand sometimes, yeah, maybe it's the parent's fault, but why does it always have to be the parent's fault that the child is a mess? You know what I'm saying? Why is it, like, yo, you think any parent raises their kid to be a school shooter? You know what I'm saying? Like, I don't think a parent would be like, yo, so here's what you're gonna do. You're gonna take your assault rifle to school and fucking kill everybody. Like, what parent raises their kid to have the tendencies to do that? You know what I'm saying? They become that, from taking account of a suffered wrong. You know what I'm saying? Like, you know why there's school shootings? Because the shooter is offended. He's offended by people that did him wrong. He's taken in account. He's having a thousand journal entries of everything people in that school did wrong to him. And he has a boiling point. He has that's the last straw moment. You know what I'm saying? But yo, when you don't take an account of a suffered wrong, there is no last straw for you. And I'm not saying that you become a punching bag. See, everybody's scared to be loving and forgiving because you don't want to be a doormat or a floor mat. And it's like, yo, was Jesus a floor mat? He wasn't a floor mat. He wasn't an enabler. He didn't love people. Like, yo, there's a scripture in the Bible where there was a woman who promiscuous woman, right? And they brought her to Jesus. They said, what should we do with this woman? He said, he that's without sin cast the first stone. And everybody walked away because they knew they were guilty of doing shit that they shouldn't be doing, right? And then he was the only one that was qualified to stone her to death if he wanted to. He chose to have mercy. He wasn't making her actions permissible. Like, I don't know if she was a prostitute. I don't know if she was like, whatever she was doing with her life that she wasn't supposed to be doing. He didn't let her go because he's enabling her to continue being a prostitute. It's because underneath her being that at the moment, he didn't even see her as that. He didn't see her as face value. He saw her for what the hell he created her to be, which is so much more than whatever mediocrity she was giving herself to. And that's what he loved. You know what I'm saying? So when you start to love all people, you don't love their mediocrity. You don't love them being evil. You just know that, you know what I'm saying? That they have potential to be more, And when you see a man for what he could be, you promote him to what he should be. But when you see him for what he is, you make him worse. Because, you're going to treat him for what he is. And then you're going to call him a piece of shit, or you shouldn't exist. Why are people like you even alive? Blah, blah, blah. Stuff like that. Right? And then none of your words has the power to change him, to make him want to. Yo, I've had situations where I was mean to people and they continually kept being nice to me. And they never told me that I should change. But their kindness made me want to change. Their kindness made me want to do better. And they never had a verbal conversation and told me, yo, I'm sick of your actions. I'm sick of this. I'm sick of none of that. You know what I'm saying? But just them being kind and me reflecting, I was forced to reflect on my own actions because, like I realized I was being a jerk for no reason, right? And they just kept loving me. And I was like, yo, maybe something's wrong with me. I started checking myself, and, it's just powerful. I have a friend who he changed his mom pretty much with kindness. She was mean to him and all he ever was nice to her. And eventually, I think she came to him crying and like, yo, thanks for loving me, man. Thanks for, when I wasn't very lovable, you loved me anyways. It wasn't her nastiness that he loved. He just understood maybe she's going through something. Maybe she's not in a good place mentally. You know what I'm saying? Like when people are easily offended, you don't give a fuck what people are going through. You just care that their negative energy is impacting you because you're so influenced by how negative someone is. You know what I'm saying? When you become powerful, when you become everything that you were created to be, you're not impacted by people's negativity anymore. You know what I'm saying? You're not, it's nothing to be around negative people because you don't worry about their negative aura like spilling onto you. They better worry about your positive aura spilling onto them. You know what I'm saying? Because that's how life is. Pretty much either you're going to convert them or they're going to convert you subliminally and indirectly. You know what I'm saying? Like your kindness, there's so many things, what's crazy about like being subliminal and things like sometimes being indirect is powerful, yo. I've noticed on Facebook sometimes, I watch other people's interactions. Like someone will write a post about you right? And you know it's about you. And it'll have more an impact you reading it indirectly than if they had. And and some people would be like, "Yo, I noticed you made that post about me. How come you can't talk to me face to face?" Now you care. Maybe they had to they try to have the conversation with you face to face, but you didn't care about having it. You was like, you didn't give a damn about hearing words. But now that they write something that's not directed to you, now you're so interested in what they had to say. Like, why is that? Yeah, I've always wondered. Um, so yeah, man, sometimes being direct, like, yo, like commercials, like, like these McDonald's commercials, like they never, they never tell you to buy their burgers, ever. They just show you them, right? They might have a price on it, and they never knock on your door and advertise to you either. Like, you know where McDonald's is. We put in the GPS and you just go there, you know. But I don't know. Anyways, when you become someone, right, that people could go to, and you're not constantly imposing, when you're always imposing, yo, people are not going to want to be around you, yo, whatever it is that you're imposing. And maybe you're imposing good morals and principles and things that if they live by, it would change their life. But still, the fact that you don't respect their free will, that's the issue for them. You know what I'm saying? Because, like, there's people that they're not ready to be set free. They're not ready to, like, live in harmony. They prefer destruction. They prefer turmoil. They prefer being fucking depressed and being anxiety driven. They prefer, you know what I'm saying? And maybe not necessarily, maybe not all of them prefer it, but that's all they know. And when all you know is anxiety, depression, and misery, when some happy ass person comes around telling you there's a better way, they're not prone to want to listen to that or even think that it's possible because there's no examples of it being a better way. They see nobody walking out a better way. You know what I'm saying? One of my favorite Christians I ever met in my life, because I met hundreds of Christians, you know what I'm saying? But in actuality, I met probably 10, you know what I mean? Because you know how that goes. There's a scripture that says, they honor me with their lips, but their hearts are far from me, And I just met a lot of people that go to church and the way they talk about people is just crazy. I'm like, bruh, And it's like the two pillars of Christianity is love and forgiveness. Why do you struggle with loving people and forgiving them? You know what I'm saying? Thought you were Christian. Like, you think what you think Christianity is because you go to church. No one gives a fuck about your church attendance or how many scriptures you could quote or how deeply you know the Bible. Yo, bro, do you love people? Do you give a damn about anybody else besides yourself? Or are you another Christian who goes to church just to go to heaven because you're of no use to this world doing that? You know what I'm saying? Like, because when I was baptized, right? And I went to church to go to heaven. Well, first of all, I got baptized because it was one of the qualifications of going to heaven. I know you got to go get baptized, blah, blah, blah. I didn't understand that I was supposed to have a transformed mind. I didn't understand that, my thoughts were supposed to change and I was supposed to be, I got baptized to go to heaven, not to give a damn about anybody who hears these podcasts or not to be beneficial towards other people. I was in it for me and what I could get out of the package, what I could get out of God. And in that place, I was of no use to you or anyone else. I had nothing valuable to give you because I was still alive to myself, living for myself. You know what I'm saying? So, like the whole message is supposed to be like when you die to yourself and when you become a new creation, when you start having the mindset that God intended for you to have. First of all, life is not a grind anymore. It's blessed, all the time. And it doesn't mean you're not met with trials and tribulations and circumstances. It just means that the storm doesn't have the power to decide how your day is going to be, to the point where even if you're in a storm, you're at peace in your heart because you don't take the storm personally. You take your relationship with God personally. You know what I'm saying? Because you realize, yo, I'm not here to take shit personally. I'm not here to be affected negatively by shit. I'm here to overcome every obstacle that gets thrown my way and then through the storm grow into the person I was created to be. Because that's why you think problems come to like take your life, make you depressed and make you want to kill yourself? No, like, all this problematic shit happens so that, to mold you into what you were meant to be. You know what I'm saying? There's things that you won't learn unless a storm comes. There's things that you're not going to understand unless adversity hits you. And through the adversity, you learn and there's some lessons in life that you don't have to go through pain, to avoid. But pain taught me some of the best lessons. You know what I'm saying? There's a girl that I wrote fucking 22 songs about, right? And I used to want to kill myself over her. And I was depressed deeply for like 6 years. You know why I was depressed? Because I couldn't get my way. Because it was all about me. Because I didn't think about, you know what I'm saying? Like, I didn't think about what's making her be the way she is. I just thought about, man, how she needs to return my texts, how she should return my calls. She should be considerate. It was always she should do this. Instead of me being the best version of myself, it was me monitoring her behavior and dwelling on it long enough to have a fucking sour opinion about it and then say, and then feeling disappointed because my needs were not met, because I was such a fucking emotional vacuum that I had so many needs that needed to be met by another person. And in that place, you're never happy, because your happiness is dependent upon somebody else functioning at a certain capacity in order for you to be okay, which means you're never going to be okay if they're not functioning the way that they should be. You know what I'm saying? You're an emotional liability to them and to yourself. You know what I'm saying? To them, because you're always going to impose how they need to be considerate towards you for you to be okay. And then you feel like a lot of baggage that they have to carry around, like dead weight. You know what I'm saying? So if people randomly cut you off all the time, you're going to wonder why. And it's like, yo, because you're not an asset to your life, to their life. You're a liability. You know what I'm saying? You don't add value to their life. You just, because they know that if you don't respond to their text or their phone call, they got to hear you complain about it. They got to hear you bitch about it. They got to hear you be like, give them a lecture about how they shouldn't do that to you. You know what I'm saying? And then when they randomly cut you off and don't tell you why, and then people repeatedly do that to you, you're going to walk around thinking, I hate this world and people need to adapt to you. This planet doesn't fucking adapt to you, bro. You adapt to the planet. When you become adaptable, instead of complaining about how this planet and people aren't adapting to you, life is amazing, yo. Because whatever the fuck comes your way, it doesn't matter. Because you're going to find a way around it, through it, or over it, around, on the side of it, whatever. Like, you're not going to complain about obstacles anymore. You know what I'm saying? You're not going to take an account of a suffered wrong. You know what I'm saying? You're going to count it all joy when you go through trials and tribulations, for you understand that through the trials, through the tribulations, it's something, it's come to teach you a lesson. It's come to teach you something. Not a disciplinary thing, but it's come to, like, like I said, there's things that you don't understand until you go through pain, and then afterwards you might understand, like, yeah, once one of my friend, he gave me this analogy. He said, gold is beautiful, but we don't really understand what it has to go through to become gold. It has to be beaten with a mallet, thrown in the furnace, burned, and then you let it sit after it gets out the furnace for a while. And then, it's a process to make, for gold, and, but it's beautiful on the other side. You know what I'm saying? Like, so yeah, like, there's a lot of people in this world. They do a lot of smiling, but they've been through the most hell. And some of the most positive people. Yo, if they told you their story, you'd be like, yo, you went through that and you're this damn positive. Like, you know what I'm saying? You'd be like, you would trip out about some of the stories. I know people that fucking been kidnapped before, man. And just, it's crazy. I'm like, what? Kidnapped? And you live to tell about it, and they're just nice people, man. And I'm like, wow, man. And I just find it so, that's something I really admire when I see someone who's been through hell, and you don't allow the hell that you've been through to mold you. You don't allow how other people act to be the reason that you guard your heart, and now you don't want to fall in love, and now you're like, fuck relationships and fuck people and this, and it's because you're weak, man. When you get strong, you're not going to be saying that anymore. You know what I'm saying? You're going to become adaptable. You're going to have understanding, and you're going to realize people act a certain way for a reason. You know what I'm saying? Every behavior that you're disgusted with, the people you're disgusted with, they have a justification in their mind that enables their behavior to continue. And until their justification for why they behave the way they do dies, it's impossible for them to change. The only way a person changes is when they replace one justification with another one. You know what I'm saying? Like, if a man justifies being a shitty father to his kid, the only way he'll be a better dad to his kid is when he has a new justification that says, I need to do better. You know what I'm saying? And when he lives by it, and when he holds himself accountable and he disciplines himself, right? Then, like, it's one justification replacing another one. That's the only place where change happens. And until these people have a new justification for acting differently, they'll never going to change. And then what you're going to do, be a product of what they are to you, and now you're molded by their injustice, and now they're the reason why you can't be okay and you can't have a good day, because they're not being nice and they're not being kind and they're not. Why are you so affected? You know what I'm saying? Like, why are you so, like, people, you'd be like, oh, but they're emotionally abusing me. Why are you so easily emotionally abused? Why are you so easily emotionally moved by people? You know what I'm saying? Like, cause then, life is going to hit you like hard if you don't get strong, and you're always going to complain. And when you complain, you know what you're telling the devil? That it's all about me. I'm alive for myself. I'm alive for life to be convenient, for things to go my way. And if it fucking doesn't, I'm going to bitch about it all day because I'm not adaptable, because I don't know how to adapt. All I know how to do is complain. All I know how to do is be a victim of my circumstances, and then you're going to wonder why life is hell, So anyways, oh, Annie, what's up? What's going on? How you been, Annie? So, yeah, man. Anyways, I'm about to go, right? I want to charge my phone. Damn, it's at zero. Thank God this podcast stayed on for so long. But I'm gonna let you guys go, man. I hope I said something, worth your time listening to. And yeah, I'll see you on the next one, man. Take care.